Quick episode recap. The god that helped Hiraku start his new life decided to check up on his situation to see how he is doing. After trying to redeem himself from the mistake he made with Hiraku's previous life, the god realizes he's made yet another mistake. The forest the god sent him to was a dangerous place full of strong monsters, and sending him there is synonymous with sentencing him to death. He can't interfere with the living Hiraku, so the god can only watch from afar. When Hiraku's soul inevitably finds itself in front of him again, the god only hopes his apology will be accepted. After using the almighty farming tool for a while, Hiraku has learned several things about it. He learned that imagining the plant he wishes to grow while tilling the land will automatically plant the corresponding seeds into the ground. He knew this theory to be correct after thinking hard on planting soybeans, which are distinct in appearance as soon as it sprouts. The advantage of the almighty tool is also apparent, as the plants planted by it grows extraordinarily fast. Hiraku experiences situations he is unsure of from time to time, but like the potatoes, everything is a learning experience, and he would learn from his mistakes. In appreciation for his new life, Hiraku also didn't forget to give thanks to the gods that gave him the opportunity, making awesome wooden statues of the first god he met, and the god of agriculture. Using the fresh produce and the rabbit meat, Hiraku tries his hand at cooking stew. But because he doesn't have any seasoning, the taste is very bland. The longing for salt is growing. He decides to try growing something new and expanded his land to accommodate fruit trees. Hiraku wants to diversify the types of food in his diet, but fruits take a long time to grow, so he'll need some patience. Luckily, he has the dogs to accompany him. He spoils them with better quality meat by draining the blood first prior to feeding them. He also plays with them to pass the time. Companionship is important for everyone after all. They started to grow a horn on their forehead, but it's a fantasy world. Things can be different. Another advantage of having the dogs around is that they don't get lost while traveling, so it allows Hiraku to travel deeper into the forest. He finally finds that water source he'd been searching for since day one. Ideally, he wants to create a channel to stream the water directly to him, but that will be a long-term project. It's more important to create a toilet on the site for immediate use. Hiraku can run a marathon without tiring by transforming the almighty tool into a wheelbarrow. He can work harder with less rest. The ideal worker everyone is looking for. He also expanded the fields to grow more variety of plants for his use for oil, flour, and sugar. Update on his progress. Time passes by, and winter is coming. He worries, as his villager clothes isn't enough to keep him warm for the coming cold. Hiraku attempted to use the rabbit pelt as a blanket, but apparently they smell awful, and there's a possibility of it rotting, so he gave up on it. Instead, he'd have to gather firewood and food to hold himself up with. He is randomly greeted by his friendly neighborhood spider. Based on first impressions as a black cushion, he names it Zabuton. Using its silk threads, it is able to weave an embroidered cloth for him. Hiraku allows it to stay on the giant tree, and feeds it potatoes, and in exchange, it masterfully creates quality clothing for him to wear. It's not limited to clothing either, but also curtains and bedding. Cheap labor. Definitely worth it. Now he's moving up in life with some luxury. Winter has come, with Hiraku and the dogs holding themselves inside their homes, and Zabuton in hibernation up in the tree. Luckily the snow isn't too heavy, and he's stored enough food to last him through the season. He still hasn't found any salt yet, but the bigger issue is his lack of human interaction. Hiraku desperately wishes for someone to talk to. And so, with the passage of time, spring finally came. The pups have all grown up, and they head into the forest to leave their nest. Or so he thought, but they came back a few days later with their mate. Similarly, Zabuton somehow reproduced by herself, and now also has a bunch of kids. A bunch of friendly neighborhood spiders.
みんな家族が増えて正直羨ましいぞ。
One day, Hiraku hears the alarm go off, signaling that something dangerous is coming. Kuro rushes to lead him to the source of the trouble. A naked little girl. Everyone is ready to ravage her, but Hiraku quickly steps in to protect her innocence. Little did he know that the girl would take the initiative to jump on him instead, sucking out his life essence from him. Kids mature so quickly nowadays. Seeing her appearance change, Hiraku questions whether she's something dangerous, but man's best friend's got his back. He questions her intentions, and she quickly defends herself, saying it was necessary as the dogs attacked her. She sucked on his blood to recover her strength, as she could not maintain her form nor her clothes anymore. He concludes she's harmless. It turns out she attacked first, so she got what she deserved. But taking pity on her, Hiraku allows her to suck his life essence from him again. Apparently he tastes very good, and she compliments his vitality. As she regains her form, Hiraku is dissatisfied with her appearance, as she's smaller in every aspect than before. She would need to suck him off some more, but he doesn't mind. It's all worth it. Her name is Lulucy, a vampire. She has never seen tomatoes before, and Hiraku allows her to try some to sate her curiosity. He's happy all his hard labor bore fruit. Hiraku continues to show her the crops around the farm, and he gets blessed with the companionship he was longing for. At the end of the day, Lu records all of her findings using magic. She is doing research on medicinal plants, but the reason she ran into the forest was to run away, after some nobles tried to steal her work. She wants to lay low for the time being, and she feels blessed to have found such a place where she can continue to look into unknown plants. Lu was surprised to find a human that lived here, but Hiraku has no clue as to what she is saying. Scary forest? Savage beasts? Magic? What are those? She is full of curiosity about him. Realizing that someday Lu would leave, Hiraku quickly asks her to stay with him. Initially she thought he meant temporarily, but he meant forever.
俺と一緒に暮らしてほしい。できればずっと。それってこの通り。
Of course, he meant as a neighbor, but like always, a misunderstanding happens, and Lu thinks he's proposing to her. She has her personal issues that holds her back, but he doesn't care. He accepts her for who she is, and she reluctantly agrees to his proposal. Hiraku realizes she's misunderstood his intentions, but he decides to go with the flow and get married to her.
むしろ望むところだ。ぜひ頼む。
Spring has finally come for him, and he happily greets his wife in the morning. She got small again, but apparently it's for her own protection, as Hiraku is less likely to ravage her that way. He initiates her as the first villager, and implies his intention to expand the population. Of course, this garners jealousy from the dogs, and he quickly corrects himself that Lu is around the 30th villager. She urges Hiraku to grow a medicinal herb garden, and he decides to try it out. One last farm update. In the same building that Lu was in, the manager retells his story about Lu to another woman. He advises her that it'd be hard to find someone unless she could fly, but...
なるほど、わかりました。ご親切にありがとうございます。